can be a part of the action. To bid or buy, you must be registered at signedbysuperstars.com. Your order, invoice, and tracking information will be stored within your account. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to auction!
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Signed by Superstars. Tonight we are joined by a true legend in the business, Tony Garea. Thanks for being here today with us.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
We just had a great dinner at a nice restaurant, and now we're back ready to do some business. So if you guys are just tuning in, we have many 8x10s to choose from. Right there on the main page of Signed by Superstars, we've got some 8x10s. Tony brought two really unique items tonight to auction off. So if you have any questions for Tony, you can put them right in the chat. We could ask him questions. But yeah, we have also a really cool piece that we had Rick Martel sign already when we did our virtual with Rick Martel, our private signing with Rick, and can be signed tonight by Tony. And you can purchase all of these right now on the website, signedbysuperstars.com. So we're going to start off with some mail order that we got. Jonathan Miller, I see you in the room. We're going to do, Jonathan, we're going to do your magazine first, and we're going to sign this in silver Sharpie.
Silver?
Yep.
Okie doke.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, AJ and Steve? Andrea, Chris, Giovanni. All right, there you go, Jonathan. Boom. All right, put this over here for you. Next, we're going to do, we got some cards here from Chris Murray. Joe, do we need to prime this paint pen?
No, they're already, oh, that one?
This one.
Maybe.
All right, I'll give it to you, and I'll get it back from you. Yep. All right, we're going to do a mail order from Daniel Crump. We have a card here. Somebody said the audio is a little off, Joe?
Should be fine now.
It should be fine now. We're going to do Sharpie. What color do you think would be best on this? Joe, what color do you think would be good on this card? Blue Sharpie?
Probably silver.
Silver? Okay, we'll do silver. What was it like working with the Sheik, the Iron Sheik?
Oh, it was great. He had me in hysterics half the match.
All right.
Don't say USA, USA.
JSA. All right, there you go. That is for you. That's for Daniel Crump. I got his holder here too, Joe. All right. They're saying the audio is a little weird still. I don't know. We're going to work on the audio, guys. Don't worry. It could be our mics. All right, Chris Murray, you're up next. Please have Tony sign with enclosed deck of blue paint pen in the center of the card. All right. This is for you, Chris. We'll do this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that card set?
Yeah.
Awesome. And we have another one from him as well. Somebody said now it's better. There we go. Good to go. All right. Good, guys. Sorry about that. All right.
There you go.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Chris. Put these over here. All right. Up next, we have two magazines from Matt Dezorzum. Let's see. Remember when you were on the cover of this magazine?
Yeah.
Let's see if he said any color. He didn't. I guess blue would be fine. We could do blue on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Another one as well. Yeah, I think it's from like 1980 something, Andrea. I'm not sure. So if you just tuned in, guys, you can order 8x10s on the website, and also we have some really cool auction items we're going to be doing. This is from Matt. And that's for Matt. If anybody has any questions, does Tony still stay in touch with Rick Martel?
Yes. Yeah, Rick and I, we talk to each other on the phone about probably 6 times a year, just to keep up with each other.
Right. Somebody would like to know if you still, or no, what was it like teaming up with Haystacks Calhoun?
Yeah, well, that was my first big tag team partner. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Right.
And so it was interesting. I learned a lot, in the business, and I was relatively young in the business. I think I'd only been here in the States for about 18 months. So it was good to get somebody with that much experience. And even though he had his style and I had mine, but I think with the two different styles, we complemented each other, and that's what made us popular.
You guys are a great tag team for sure.
Thank you.
Somebody would like to know, what was the most important part of being an agent?
I think the most important part was getting to the town on time, and being able to get along with all the talent, because they all had their ideas, and being an agent, we were kind of just the delivery guys. Everything came down from Vince to us, and then we had to present it to the talent.
Guys, we also did a great interview today with Tony. We did a 2.5-hour interview, and pretty much all the questions you're probably going to ask us in this is going to be in the interview. If you want to get into more details, you're definitely going to check out this interview when we put it out. We're going to do this in a black Sharpie. This is for Tim Haber. Thank you, Tim. We're also going to write an inscription on here after you sign it. I'll tell you what he wants on it. He wants you to write 2-time WWF Tag Team Champions. You guys could hear Cookie in the background. She's crying to get out.
Give me that blue marker right there.
His shoot interview will be out in a couple days, Chris, for sure. All right, Steve, we'll ask your question next. Steve Camp would like to know, who are some of your dream opponents?
Oh, dream opponents. You mean the ones I worked with? Or?
Steve, do you mean the guys that he worked with or guys that he never had a chance to work with? He'll write in a second. Somebody asked, do you ever think you'll be in the WWE Hall of Fame?
I think it's possible. When they're ready, or when I'm ready.
Yeah.
When I get older.
Mike, I don't have a picture with him and Haystacks here. Only Dean Ho. I just got your message. How was it working with Man Mountain Canyon, which I believe was King Kong Bundy, right? Was that King Kong Bundy? Man Mountain Canyon, John? All right, this is going to be for Steve Fox. And we're going to sign your name, and we're going to pretty much do the same inscription as we just did. 2-time WWF World Tag Team Champions. Actually, we have a great story about Bundy that he told on the interview. He wants to know what it was like working with a young Bundy.
It was good. I enjoyed it. He listened, which would, got me out of there uninjured, because all he had to do was trip and fall on me, and I'd be
Squashed.
lunch meat.
All right, Steve Fox, this is for you. Again, if you guys just joined the room, you could purchase many different 8x10s on the main page. We're going to auction off 2 items as well tonight. Really cool. The one item is amazing. I think Joe might even wanted to bid on it. All right. Thank you, Steve Fox. All right. There you go, Steve. That's for you. All right. Brandon Kane. Another shot of you and Rick Martel. This one, we're just signing your name. That's it. Okay, Steven wants to know, is there anybody that you never had a chance to work with that you want to work with?
Yeah, that would be Pat Patterson. I thought we were tag team partners in San Francisco in '76, but I never had a chance to actually work against him, which I would have loved to.
Oh, yeah, 100%. All right, we got another dual sign with you and Rick Martel for Anthony Militic. We're going to do purple paint pen. I think there's a purple up there.
Mm-hmm.
And on this one, we're going to write your name and then just WWF Tag Team Champions.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, I'll ask your question next. It's a good question. Ooh, that looks good. Guys, we only have a couple more of the Rick Martel pictures left. It really pops. Definitely want to get that signed for sure. There you go, guys. Look at that. Looks great. You can order one right now on the website. All right. As an agent, was there anyone that ever rubbed you the wrong way?
None that I can remember off the top of my head.
Just somebody that maybe didn't listen to you, gave advice, and they were like, "Oh, I know better than you."
No, I can't remember any.
I got you.
That would probably come up, pretty quick if I remember.
Somebody wants to know if you watch AEW.
I think I've watched one match of AEW.
Do you remember what it was?
I can't remember what.
All right, up next is Jason. Jason, you got a dual signed photo. This one, we're just going to sign your name.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jason. Yes, you can still buy one right now, Andrew. If anybody's watching, you could buy it. These 8x10s are available on the main page. Just go to the main page of the website, and it's right on the front. You could click on Tony's picture, and there's a drop-down menu, and you could click which photos you want. It's really, really easy. Very, very easy. Thank you, Jason. All right. Any Captain Lou Albano stories? What's your a really good Albano story?
There were probably too many to list. I remember one time he was working with Bruno in Baltimore, and he got blood, and he went back to the dressing room and got more blood, and then came back out to the ring. I mean, you imagine Lou with his arms going like this.
What made him get color twice? Just
just because he wanted to get plenty of it and do Bruno a big favor.
That's awesome. All right, Jacob Cohen, this is for you. We're just going to sign your name on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go, Jacob. That's your first one. Somebody wants to know if you still watch The Business today.
Very, very seldom, maybe once a month I might click it on for like 15 minutes. And I really don't know anybody that's in the business anymore.
It's changed so much, right?
Yeah. And then when I do watch it, I'm like bewildered. Why? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that?
It's like what we were talking about earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, photo number 2, actually. Photo number 2. Joe, photo number 2 would be the one with the jacket, right? Yeah. Yep. All right. Photo number 2. We're going to write to Jacob, WWF Tag Team Champion, and we'll sign your name. Jacob. I'll ask that question, Jonathan. Good question. And Anthony, I'll ask your question too. Somebody wants to know how you were discovered.
I don't know about discovered, but I came here in March of '72. I started in Florida, and I believe it was March 21st. It was a Monday, and it was in the Orlando Stockyards. And my partner, Tony Garea at the time, and we wrestled a tag team called J.C. Dykes and the Infernos. J.C. Dykes was the manager. And then I stayed in Florida for about 7 months, and I got booked up in New York, and then just went from there. I was going to stay 1 year, and that's 51 years ago.
Wow, that's crazy.
I was bad at mathematics, real bad.
But he's good at investments. Was Tony in the back for the Nails Vince incident?
I was there at the arena, but I wasn't privy, to the actual incident itself. It was in Vince's office in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Wow. Well, any backstage incidents or fights that he was present for the standout? That standout. Were you ever backstage for a good fight?
I can't remember.
Oh, good question. Andre, did you know Andre well?
Yeah, very well. In the beginning of his career, when he came to the United States, and he came up into the New England area, then I had him travel with me. I had a fairly big car. It was a 1972 LTD Brougham. It was a Ford, and Andre fit in the front seat with a little bit of help. And we traveled together, and we had some good times.
You ever play cricket with Andre?
No.
All right, Jonathan Miller. We're going to assign this to Jonathan Miller. We're just going to sign your name.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Joe, you want to do the tie first or the other gimmick first? All right, we can do the tie first, guys. And then we'll ask about Roddy Piper. If you're just tuning in, guys, don't forget you can order an 8x10. Again, we don't know how long we're going to be on. He's got a long drive home. We did a long interview. We started early today. We're going to stay on as long as there's orders. So we are going to get extra stuff signed. But if you're going to place an order, you should do it shortly because he's got a long drive ahead of us. So, again, you go right on the main page of the website. There's a drop-down menu, and go ahead and pick which pictures you want to get signed. So we're going to start off with this tie, which is an official. Did all the agents get this?
Yes.
So guys, check this out. It has the old school WWF logo on there. This is an actual tie, and this was on TV many times, probably. Again, it's a WWF tie, guys, that Tony wore on TV, and only the office guys had that tie, and he will sign it, whatever you want written on there. You want to start it off at like $100?
Whatever they feel it.
If somebody, we're going to start the tie off at $100. So if anybody wants to bid on the tie, we're going to open it up at $100, guys. It's got the logo on there and everything. All right, we already got a $100 bid. John Shinovar is at $100. We'll do $25 intervals. That way we're not here all night. So we'll leave it up for a while. Somebody wants to know if you have any good Roddy Piper stories.
The only good Roddy Piper story, well, I remember one time Roddy went out of the ring in Sacramento and landed on a table and he sliced his calf, which maybe isn't a good story, but I remember that. And of course the other one was with one of his first interviews with Piper's Pit was with me, and he questioned me about being tag team champions and asked me, how many times I'd been a tag team champion. And I told him, and then he said, well, that also means you lost it that many times,
Right.
And I reacted a little bit, and I said, well, Mr. Piper, how many times have you been a champion? and I got up and walked off the set, which left him kind of frustrated.
And that was all ad lib too. That wasn't like the office or anybody giving you the lines, right?
Exactly.
All right, we're at 125. Sam Garcia at 125 for the tie. So now we're looking for 150. Again, this is in great condition too, guys. You'll get it signed and inscribed. Thoughts on Rikishi?
Oh, Rikishi, I love that guy. You know, he was great in the ring. He was great outside the ring. And that gimmick Rikishi that whoever came up with, I have no idea. You know, it just suited him.
100%.
100%, yes.
Any stories of Afa and Sika being legit badasses? How were they outside the ring? Were they pretty crazy and wild?
No, I didn't see them that way. You know, they were very good in the ring with Rick and I. I mean, they could have destroyed us, but then it wouldn't have made any money for anybody.
Yeah,
including them, and they were good. You know, they were good businessmen. Right? I talked to them, and they talked to me, and you know, there was no problems whatsoever with us, with Rick and I, and Afa and Sika.
we have a good story on the shoot interview too. That we'll save it for that. Talking about the Samoans, it's a good story on there. And again, you can watch that in a couple days. Somebody would like to know, was Rick Martel more of just a close colleague, or did a friendship already exist or grow over time?
No, a friendship grew over time. I think Rick looked at me as his older brother, and you know, we talked about our matches and what we should do. And in the end, we didn't even have to talk. We just did things. You know, it was like, all right, this is the next move. This is what we have to do. You know, do we tag out now or do we wait? You know, we didn't. We just it was like poetry in motion. Well, for me anyway. But our friendship grew over the time, and like I said, I still stay in touch with him. We call about 5-6 times a year just to see how everything is going, and everything is good.
Somebody would like to know, what big match were you involved in as an agent, and who were the workers? He was involved in almost everybody's matches. So,
Yeah.
what's like the biggest match that you think you ever agented at maybe at a pay-per-view or something? Have you done Rocks matches at all?
No, I don't recall. You know, doing any.
Any big WrestleMania matches?
Yeah, like maybe a big WrestleMania.
No, I can't recall.
He did a lot of TVs, guys. What about the Ultimate Warrior? What are your memories of Jim Hellwig?
Well, I remember the time we went around with him with Andre, and there was at the start there was a bit of a mess up, and you know, then Andre got disqualified, I think, and it only lasted about 30 seconds. I have no idea to this day what the idea was, because previous to that we had the Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude, you know, up to 17 or 18-minute match, which like the Ultimate Warrior, his matches were generally 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If that. And you know, that's all I remember about that.
All right, Sam Garcia is still at 125 for the tie. Does anybody want to go to 150? We'll leave this up for another 5 minutes. And again, we still have 3 Rick Martel pictures left, guys. That's all I have left right now for tonight's show for Rick Martel. And then we have about, 6 other pictures to choose from. So if anybody wants to grab one, now is the time to do so. Joe, you want me to show the other piece? All right. So we'll let Tony explain what this piece is. This is awesome. This is directly from the 1980s. Go ahead. You could.
Yeah, early 1980s. This was my wrestling bag that I went to the shows with, and I put my dirty boots in there and my jacket and everything. It's a double thick Helen Burton.
And all the boys used to have this in the 80s.
Yeah.
Everybody.
This was the bag of choice in the 80s. Before that, it was a soft side bag with a zipper on it. But
It's in great condition still.
yeah, everything works. And I have my initials on the front there,
That's pretty cool.
TG.
And that's not Todd Gordon. So yeah, guys, we also had a New Japan one that Bob Backlund signed. Remember that? And we had Andre. Now we got a Tony Garea one. We're gonna start this at $200, guys, and he'll sign it really big on the front, whatever you want written on there. And again, this is awesome. Somebody says it looks like a prototype of the Money in the Bank's case.
It's bigger than the money in the bank because I have more money than the money in the bank. So I need this.
There you go. So if anybody wants to start out on the Halliburton, we're going to start it off at $200, guys. $200, which is a steal. Brand new, these are $400. And I think our Bob Backlund one sold for like $700. So we're starting this very cheap at $200. All right. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We got 3 minutes left on the tie. Sam Garcia in the lead.
Did you tell them that like small WWF logos on that?
Yeah, I did. There is. Here, I'll zoom in on it. I don't have the remote, Joe. But there's very tiny WWF logos on the tie. We got $150 on the tie, Jonathan Miller. So we're now up to $150. What was your favorite city that you like to travel to? Like you couldn't wait to get to?
I think Boston. I think Boston was because the old Boston Garden. You know, there was a good atmosphere in there.
Right.
Uh,
Somebody said, did you consider yourself a trailblazer at the time you were wrestling?
no, not at all. I thought there were a lot more people ahead of me, but when I look back now, well, maybe.
Who was the funniest person in the locker room?
Stan the Man Stasiak was pretty funny. Yeah.
We're at 175 for the tie. Sam Garcia at 175. Cody Rain says, hello, Tony. I'm a big fan of yours.
Hi, Cody.
Any stories about when you teamed up with Larry Zbyszko? And I think somebody might have the actual PWI Rookie of the Year plaque. Pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, Devin Ashman said that. But what are your memories of teaming up with Larry Zbyszko?
Well, when Larry came in, he didn't have any place to stay. So I let him stay with me for a little while. And that was way before, we were put together as a tag team. And he stayed with me for a little while, and then he found his own place. Then he saved a little money, and Larry went out and bought himself an old Harley. He said, I found this Harley Davidson, the Suicide Shift. And he showed me, and I thought, what the heck is this? It looked like junk.
Right.
But then he had it all chopped and channeled, or whatever you call it, and he got it back, and he spent a bunch of money on it. And then I went for a ride on it, but it was like, this ain't for me.
Right.
Because you had to take your one hand off the steering and change gear, and it wasn't my cup of tea. and then I think we got into they put us together. I think we were in Allentown or Hamburg, and gave us the belts there, and then we went from there.
All right, we got a lot of questions coming in. Somebody wants to know your least favorite hotel chain. I guess we were talking about that at dinner.
Yeah. Well, back then I don't know what it is, but we used to stay at when I was on the road constantly. We get a good stay at a Red Roof Inn, but now they're not so good. So I can't see which was the least.
How did you like going to Cauliflower? Was it Cauliflower Convention in Waterloo?
Oh no, that was the
Cauliflower Alley,
Cauliflower Alley was
Vegas, right?
in Vegas. Yeah. Well, I haven't been there for about 3 or 4 years because of COVID and such, and this year we didn't go. But I enjoyed meeting some of the guys, from my era. It was good to see them, and some guys, they'd come up to me and, "Hi, Tony, remember me?" And I'm sorry. Then they'd give me a name and like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
So yeah, the tie, guys, is at 175. If you just tuned in, Eric, I know you're a big ring worn item fan. This is an actual tie that Tony wore on TV. It's got the WWF logo on there. If you could see it, it's the old school logo. And I think right now we're at 175 for the tie. Sam Garcia is at 175. We're doing $25 increments, so we would now be looking for $200. And this is a Halliburton that Tony used to travel in the 80s. It's got his initials on there, and we'll sign it really big for you. He'll sign whatever you want on there. So this was used to travel. Let me just scroll back down. Does it have anything inside? Just a zipper and some dust. Can Tony tell a Vince McMahon story for us?
Oh.
That's the Halliburton. So
Well, the only Vince McMahon story that I have that, was kind of good for me. We were at the Madison Square Garden match one night, and we had all tag team matches, no singles. And Vince came up behind me and he said, "Tony, why don't you put a single on between the tags?" I said, "Vince, it's all tag matches tonight." And, he made the card. He made the card and he forgot.
Let me scroll back down here and make sure. Why is there... I already answered that one. Oh, was Mr. Fuji as crazy as people said he was? I guess with the ribs, he's asking.
I wouldn't say he was crazy, but he liked to rib whenever he could. He had various ribs from cooking up dog food to feed his guests to jacking a car up and putting it on blocks. So when you came out from the wrestling match and you started the car and put it in gear, you didn't go anywhere.
Right.
Because you're up in blocks.
Kurt Hennig used to put crazy glue on people's keys on their cars.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're at 175 on the tie. It's 7:33. We'll take the tie home in 3 minutes. 3 minutes left on the tie, unless somebody goes up to $200. And there's no bidding yet on this. We're starting this off at $200. And again, if you want to place an order, you can do so right now for the 8x10s. Let's see what anything else that I missed in the chat. Let's see. Oh, memories of Hulk Hogan.
Well, I met Hulk Hogan in 1979 when I came back. I'd been back to the WWE for a couple of years. I believe it was 79. And I worked
in Florida?
with him. What's that?
Was that Florida?
No, that was here in New
okay.
York. And I worked with him a couple of times, and I was surprised how well he moved, and for a big guy.
Was that with Blassie with him?
I believe so. Okay. Yeah.
All right, we are going to do this one for Chris Steed. Chris, this is for you. We're going to do blue Sharpie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, blue.
Yep, and then we're going to write 5-time WWF/WWF Tag Team Champions.
Mm-hmm.
We actually talked about Eddie Gilbert in the shoot interview, Melvin. Yep, we actually talked about that too, Andrew. I'll still ask the questions, but we go into great detail of what you're asking in the shoot interview. Thank you, Chris Steed. All right. Somebody wants to know any young Eddie Gilbert stories.
Well, Eddie used to do a great impersonation of Terry Funk, you know, and that was quite entertaining.
There's Terry Funk right there on the camera. See it?
Oh,
the,
yeah.
The figure.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Owen and Bret Hart?
Well, a couple of great wrestlers, and I was there in Kansas City the night Owen fell, and it was quite devastating. I actually was down at ringside, and I thought he was maybe still alive, and they took him off to the hospital. I thought, maybe they can resuscitate him, but it never happened.
That's
It's
sad.
very sad.
It's horrible. Somebody asked who was the worst to ride with on the road. Who was like somebody you hated traveling with?
Ivan Putski, because he made a mess in the back seat of my car. It was onion and tuna fish.
Oh. Dean Ho and yourself, how did that come to be? How was the chemistry between you two?
Yeah, well, I think it came to be because Haystacks had left, and they were contemplating another partner for me, and Dean Ho came in, and he was martial arts,
right?
You know, which was against Fuji and Tanaka, so that kind of all rolled up into a ball became the real thing, and we just went from there.
There's a picture of Hogan. Is this kind of like what he looked like in '79?
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah.
There you go, guys. That's
Big guy.
all right. Up next, we have an order for Joe Brabham, photo number 3. And anything on it, Joe, or just no inscription? All right, purple paint pen, and we're just going to sign your name.
Purple.
Yep. Thank you, Joe Brabham. Chris, I won't ask that question on here. I'm going to make you buy the shoot interview because we actually talk about that question. What are your memories of teaming with Pat Patterson in San Francisco?
Oh, that was great. I learned a lot from Pat. You know, he was kind of a booker with Roy Shires out there, so he knew a lot. And I actually, Pat and I wrestled Fuji and Saito in San Francisco for 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Oof.
So that was quite a grueling match.
That's more than a Broadway.
Yeah, but it was easy with Pat because everything was simple for me, but you know we did the spots and did what we had to do.
Good chemistry.
Yeah.
Anything with Johnny Valiant? Any stories on Johnny Valiant?
Johnny was a straight up guy. I was pretty devastated when I heard what happened to him, and we were about the same age, you know, and we worked with Dean and myself, and we had great matches. Nothing more to say. I think we were booked in Nashua, New Hampshire one time, and we didn't have much of a backup card, but the place was sold out. And I thought, wow.
You drew the house. Yeah.
That's thanks to Johnny and Jimmy.
All right. Sam Garcia, again, is at 175. 175. Does anybody want to go to $200? We'll give it another minute on the tie. We're at 175. Was it a big deal at all when they changed from WWF to WWF? And did anyone in the business not like it?
No, I didn't hear anybody say anything, but I'm thinking the reason they changed because there was something wide world of.
It was the Animal Foundation.
No, that was.
Oh
WWF.
yeah. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, there was the Wild World.
Worldwide of Wrestling.
Worldwide World of something sports or something.
Right.
There was something similar with 3 W's in it. So then they went to 2 W's, and then the animals, they couldn't tell the difference between a wrestler and a grizzly bear.
Right. Well, this is for Brian Westcott. We're just going to sign your name. Thank you, Brian. All right. Somebody wants to know your thoughts on Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon.
Well, they made a great pair of announcers, you know, Gorilla playing the straight man, I guess, and Bobby was as funny as all hell. I mean, he was quick. He just, he could ad-lib, you know, a conversation, and it'd just be all BS, and you'd be laughing your head off it. It was unreal. It was a shame what happened to Bobby.
Yeah. That's horrible.
Yep.
Tony never wrestled for Vern Gagne. If not, did Vern ever reach out to you to wrestle for AWA?
As a matter of fact, Jack Lanza called me one time in '76 and asked if I would, you know, come to the AWA. But I was already booked in San Francisco at that time, so I couldn't make it. But that is one thing I regret, is not going to the AWA.
You would have definitely fit in there because
Yeah.
he was pretty much all about straight wrestling and, you
Yeah.
know, 100%.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on co-winning the PWI Rookie of the Year award with Bob Orton Jr.?
No, it was a pleasure to be with Bob Orton, because we kind of broke in together. We used to work out in Florida. He came in, and we spent quite a bit of time together, him and his wife, and then there was Austin Idol was there. There was Dick Slater. We all started around the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
While Don Scott trained you, he was the main reason of getting into the sport, or did you always have an interest in the sport?
No, I didn't really have an interest in it. I was playing rugby league back in New Zealand, and Don was in the same club as me, and he asked me if I'd be interested, and I said, yeah, you know, and it was just mainly, you know, to make a couple of extra bucks.
Yeah.
Which I think the highest payday I got was $50, and the rest were like $12 or $16 or $20. So it wasn't a lot, but that was back in 1969, 1970.
Any advice you would give the younger tag teams in the business now?
Well, just figure out what a tag team is. It's all about tagging your partner when you're in trouble, and you can build a whole match, you know, by doing that, you know. But you have to shine in the beginning, and then after that, and you just give it to the heels, and as a baby face, and as a heel, you know, put your partner over them, put your opponents over, you know, make them look good, and then cut them off.
All right. Again, guys, we're going to take home the tie. I believe we're at 175. Sam Garcia. We'll do a 30-second countdown. Sam Garcia is at 175. Were there any plans for Arnold Skolin being your manager?
No, none that I heard of. No.
Tony and Billy Robinson would have been a great match, somebody said.
Mm-hmm. I never met Billy.
Oh, wow. What was the role of an agent, and how is it different than a producer?
Well, I think the agents, they called us agents because of road agent. You know, we were on the road. And then they changed it to producer because, you know, we were producing the live matches. And I think it was just the title, and started with road agent, then it went to producer.
All right, we're going to do the countdown, guys. Sam Garcia at 175. We'll do a 10-second countdown. We're looking for $200. And, all right, Sam looks like he's going to get this. We'll do 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sold. All right, Sam, let us know what you want Tony to write on the tie. Let us know. Somebody asked, do you think chemistry And wait, what did it say? Do you think chemistry or working a crowd is better in tag teams, in your humble opinion?
I don't understand.
I don't know either. Andrew, what do you mean by that question? Do you think chemistry or working with a crowd is better in tag matches? Yeah, I don't understand that
Oh,
question.
I think the chemistry of two guys working
Oh, okay.
together or working in
The crowd. Gotcha.
I like the crowd. You know, like back in the day, we used to, hypothetically give the crowd what they wanted, but we had them wait. We didn't just give it to them. Like there's so many guys I see. Like they punch the guy and then they look at the crowd. Well, if you're in a real fight, you're not going to punch a guy and look at the people in the bar and say, well, what do you think of that? Because then that leaves you open. But you would punch the guy, the crowd would react, and then you'd punch him again, and then you'd maybe look at the crowd.
All right. To Sam and just signing it. What color, Joe, on this on the red tie, you think? What do you think would pop?
Probably Silver Sharpie, to be honest.
Silver Sharpie? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, Joe, we just did your order, Joe Brabham. We just did it. It's right here.
What does he want signed?
To Sam, and then just gonna sign your name.
Okay. Right at the bottom where there's a lot of room.
Cool. You want me to hold it?
Mm-hmm. Sam?
Yep, S-A-M. And guys, we still have the Halliburton at $200. Opening bid. It's a original Halliburton from the 80s with his initials on there. Very, very cool item, especially if you're a fan of the 80s. Because I used to go to the hotel when I was a kid, and all the guys would have them. There you go, Sam. Thank you very much. Joe will send you a invoice for that one. That's already sent. All right. And again, guys, if anybody else wants to place an order, now is the time to do so. If you have any other questions, you should put them in the chat. Let's see. Somebody wants to know if you ever thought about running a company in New Zealand for yourself.
No, not at all. That's at my age. I just want to retire and enjoy the rest of my life, which is only about another 40, 50 years.
What were you thinking when you won the WWF title for the first time?
I was just thinking of getting through it without making a mistake.
That might be Vince calling.
I did. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No, I'll have to call back. Yeah, just thinking about, I was a little bit nervous, of getting through the match without making any mistakes and fouling everything up. And then, of course, I had in my mind, when I win it, I've got to be happy. Just went nuts.
Somebody asked, how did you feel when Vince announced that wrestling was just an exhibition?
I was a little disappointed, I mean, if you didn't know it was an exhibition, why do you have to be told? That might have been a lot to get away from the athletic commission.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Because they were coming in like in some towns in Pennsylvania, it was 5% for the city, 5% for the county, 5% for the state. And some of the commissioners there, they say, well, if it's $100,000 house, that's $5,000 for each. Well, it's not. That's 15%.
Yeah.
It's 5%, and then you go down to 95,000, and it's 5% of 95,000. Now you're at 90,000, say $200, and then it's 5% of 90,200.
See, he knows numbers.
Yeah, but that was our money. I mean, we worked hard for it, and they walk in and say, well, we made a law,
Right. Somebody asked if you ever played golf with Mean Gene.
No, I wasn't a golfer. I tried it one time with Strongbow and Strongbow, Patterson, Sabisco, a few others, and I hit a good ball, and I thought I'm the champion now. And the next ball, it'd go in the woods, and I wouldn't find it.
That's awesome.
So that was it. That was me in golf, you know.
Good question, Joe Bernards. What was the most angry you ever saw Vince?
I can't recall.
He never showed emotion. He was always poker face.
Yeah.
All right.
Or sometimes at TV, you know, when the guys, you know, wouldn't go home and you're on a time schedule there and it was live, you know, then he'd...
Anybody ever go into business for themselves and go a little bit longer than they were supposed to?
Oh, yeah, some guys used to do that, and especially in the house shows in which the guys, you know, didn't understand that you stay out there, you're exposing yourself, right? And you know the universe has seen you, and they see you, so they won't come back to see you. But if you get out there, you do your thing, you don't rush things, you know, boom, boom, you go, and they say, oh, those guys were good. We'll come and see them next time they come here. But if you stay out there, it's like pushing yourself down their throats.
Yep. No, I get that.
Yeah.
We talked about Roddy Piper. Good question, Melvin. We actually talked about him a little bit during the interview. Jose Luis Rivera. Any memories of Jose Luis Rivera?
Jose, I bump into him now and again, and he's quite a character. He always was quite a character, but I wrestled him a few times when he was up here in the WWF, and he questioned me. He was going to buy a house one time, and he asked me some questions about how he should buy it, and you know, would it be a good idea? And I said, yes, it would. And yeah, because I'd bought a few properties, and I wasn't an expert, you know, but I wasn't doing it, you know, to make a living.
Right.
But, you know, I knew more than what some people knew.
All right, guys, we're gonna shut the orders down in like 5 minutes. So if you want to place an order, now is the time to do so. We'll leave the orders up for like 5 more minutes. Place your 8x10s. You can ask questions. We still have the Halliburton up for auction if anybody wants it. Opening bid is $200. Nobody else bids, you'll get it for $200. Somebody said they live 20 minutes away from Jose Luis Rivera in Puerto Rico. Somebody wants to know what you do with your time now.
Well, I'm retired, and I live in Florida now, so I get up about 6:30 in the morning, have a glass of water, then have a glass of juice, then I have a coffee, then I go to the gym for 45 minutes to an hour, then I come back, have a protein drink, wait for a while, have breakfast, then I go down the beach or ride my bike down the beach, and that's it. And then I just potter around. I put together a teak bench a couple of months ago. I got some wrought iron ends, and I bought some teak, and it turned out pretty good. So you might say I just potter.
Yeah.
I had a condo up in I have a condo in Connecticut, and I put a new kitchen in there, and I actually helped my friend, you know, put it in, but I bought all the bits and pieces from Home Depot, so I got it quite reasonable, and it looks good.
Yeah.
So you don't know if it's a $40,000 kitchen or a $4,000 kitchen.
No, he's not driving from PA to Florida tonight. No, he's going somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it's a long drive, so that's why we're going to let him out a little bit earlier. So again, got a couple minutes left. If you guys want to place an order, now is definitely the time to do so. If anybody has any last-minute questions, you should ask them now. And again, we still have the Halliburton up for grabs. All right, let me just scroll back down here. What's your favorite city? I know we asked you your favorite venue, but what's your favorite city to visit?
Probably New York. We had a pay-per-view in there one time, and we stayed there for about 5 days, and because I had the car in the garage at the hotel, so we just walked around like 3rd Avenue, and I don't remember what it was, third and something, I can't remember. But years ago we used to stay at a hotel on 47th Street West, and I can't remember the name of it, but that was it, like once a month. But this time, we stayed in for the for the, what do you call it, the pay-per-view?
Right.
Yeah. And Timmy White and I went out one night, and we had a blast. It was just stupid stuff. We jumped from one bar to the other, and of course, with my accent, they all thought I was Irish, so I was a bit of a hero there. And Timmy being Irish.
Somebody asked when the shoot's going to be available and how much. We'll announce that right on our on Facebook, and I'll announce it tomorrow on the show because we're going to be back tomorrow at like 7 o'clock. Somebody said thank you for the stories and signing those pictures and items as well. Tony, we appreciate all you gave to the business.
Thank you.
No problem, Joe. See you, Ethan. See you, Stephen Camp. I guess, Joe, nobody else placed any orders?
No.
All right. We just make sure nobody placed any other orders. Anybody want the Halliburton before we sign off? Anybody want to get that for $200? Let me know. All right. Well, again, guys, we did a great interview for Tony. If you're a fan of this man, you got to check out his interview. It was like 2.5 hours. We talked about everything under the sun. So you definitely want to check that out. It will be up on our website in the next couple of days, and I'll talk about it further tomorrow. So I guess that's pretty much it. Is there anything you want to say to your fans out there?
Well, thank you, everybody, for supporting me over the years, and I certainly appreciate it, and I hope I didn't offend anybody over those years. And hopefully we'll live to fight another day.
100%. Well, guys, we'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock with a brand new show with all brand new merchandise. So definitely tune in tomorrow. And I want to thank you for being here today. It was a great, great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rob.